Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elevating Your Life with Paula Vail. Happy day to everyone. I am so excited. Once again, just another amazing guest to share with you. I am so honored. Today we have with us Sherry Stirling Fernandez, and she has been a speaker, a teacher, a mentor for nearly 3 decades, and now is the author of Life Mastery, Personal Progression Toward an Infinite Potential. And I have read this book. It's absolutely amazing. You're going to love it. Sherry and her husband, Ken, are rags to riches story. Against all odds, they found success in each of the 8 areas of life mastery: physical, spiritual, relationships, education, money, motivation, lifestyle, and character. And we're going to discuss that today. That's going to be really fun. And she is a creator of the Life Mastery program. And she's going to share quite a bit about that with us, as well as information on her book. So first off, Sherry, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, I am just so honored. I'm so honored. Well, I would love it if you want to share a little more of your background with us and kind of what triggered you to write your amazing book.
Well, let's talk a little about my background first and how I got into this in the beginning. It sounds like an odd place to start, but and when I was 7 years old, this is 1962, my mother left my father. And she had 4 little girls, and she wasn't very well equipped to take care of us. And we ended up living in a really small little town in Utah. And in 1962, divorcees were not, well, they're still called divorcees, right? I don't say that anymore. And we didn't have the money. I mean, it was, not a very good time on paper, at least. I didn't seem to notice it. But the reason it was important to life mastery is because I think this is where it all started. As I wandered around that little town a lot, spent a lot of time alone, go to the movies by myself, and I just wandered this town, like miles around this town, go out and catch frogs out of town. I was just wander around, and most of the time by myself. But I thought a lot, and I remember in that time thinking, deciding, observing, I don't know which of those were most fit, that I'm somebody special. And there's something special in store for me, that God in his universe was, whatever that meant, I had no idea, that I was somewhat important to him. And he had just something marvelous for me. I didn't even know what that would look like. I just knew it was going to be great. And so then you fast forward some years and a lot of turmoil in my teens and some other things. But when I settled down, that feeling came back to me. Well, I've got big things to do. And this place where I am, my husband and I got married, really love each other, and I'd had a child previously, and it was that baby, I think, that kind of maybe turned things around a lot for me too. But I just said, okay, I don't want to live in this poverty. It was pretty rough, pretty bad. I said, I want to live like this. I've got great things to do. That feeling that I had once a child came back, and I said, okay, I can have it all. I know I can have it all. Not all in like I can have every material thing, but I can have all the best things that life has to offer. Best marriage, best body, best health, best education. I just had to figure out how. And so then I began studying that and how I could do that, reading the books, listening to the lecturers, taking we did some experiential workshops and things like that. And then I began teaching. I practiced it, and we went from this really, how are we going to get through another day, to pretty comfortable. We'd set a goal. My husband set a goal to make $1 million be worth $1 million when he was 40. We're about the same age, so we did that. And then from then on, we were able to continue to grow that. But at practicing all those things, people began to observe that I was coming a long ways fast, and I was being asked to speak and talk about the things that I'd learned. Then I started to do it for money. coaching people, and for free still a lot too, because I am what I am. I can't help myself. And then I didn't really ever intend to write a book. People would say, after they'd hear me speak somewhere, they'd say, you should write a book. Oh. And I was like, no, I'm a speaker, not a writer. And I just you got to know your limitations. And I just didn't ever intend to do that. And then in 2020, I did a workshop. Some people there said you should write a book. And I told somebody else and they said, yes, you should write a book. I told my husband, he said, no, you really should write a book. And then it just flowed out of me. Once I decided, I think for somebody who's ever written a book, I think it's pretty well written. And I don't know how I did that.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I
And I
read it,
love
I'm like,
that. Everyone kept telling you write a book. The
Yeah.
reason I wrote my book last year, Why Am I So Happy, is because people asked me that my whole life. Why are you so happy? Even though
They
I've
put it down
gone
in
through
words.
challenges, and that's, sometimes we get pushed into it, don't we, Sherry?
Yeah, we just think, okay, if all these people are
Okay.
saying it, here I can answer the question once, right? Why am I so happy? Here you go. Here's my book.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and your book is so fantastic. So fantastic. I do want to ask you though, on the cover, you have a pine cone. Why do you have a pine cone on the cover of your book?
That's a good question. I wish everybody would ask that question. It is actually intended to be a redwood cone and to keep the colors consistent and beautiful. It's a little bit off colored and I think it looks a lot more like a pine cone, which is okay. You can read the book and find out, but this is why. I had been in years and years ago, like decades ago, we were in Emerald Bay in Lake Tahoe, and they had some down by the water, they had some first growth ponderosa pines, and the cones on these pines that were laying on the ground were gigantic. I'd never seen pine cones that large. And there was a few sequoias there. And I got to thinking, well, what would the cone be on a redwood tree? My husband grew up in a little piece of property tucked into the redwoods in Northern California. So when we went there the next time, I went looking for them, and they're only like an inch big. So here's the most majestic trees in the whole world, way more majestic than any other tree on the, bigger than any building in my town, in my city where I live. Here's these beautiful trees. I mean, they're like, you can't help but feel like you're in a sacred space when you look at them, right? And they come from just this teeny tiny little cone, this little seed. And I thought about how that's like people. We have this huge potential to be so magnificent, but we start so little.
Yeah.
I like to quote Abraham Maslow, and he said, we're simultaneously gods and worms.
Yes.
We're so little, and yet we have so much potential. And so I thought it was
and
a good
that's
metaphor.
so true, isn't it
So
true?
I should put
Sherry?
a little arrow, redwood coniferous cone on the cover, I guess.
We may think of ourselves as this little speck, but that little speck, what it can do and how it can grow and how it can affect the world and others really is amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing. And at the same time, it's also amazing how many of us don't do it. A lot of those redwood cones just lie on the ground and become dust, eventually decompose, and they're nothing. And their potential is lost. They don't have much of a choice, but we have a choice and we can choose. And it's also, while I'm excited about human potential, I'm also sad at how many people don't ever get a chance to explore that potential.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's because they choose, and sometimes because a lot of my clients come to me, they want, like I did, they just have no idea, like I was, they have no idea how to do it. And maybe there's not enough of us pointing out the direction. I don't know.
And
but
you help them take those first
Yeah.
steps, because really
love that
those
too.
first steps are vital, aren't they?
Yes. And once you point them that way and they get a vision of it, that's just what they do. It's just like, it's why I keep doing it, Paula. I'm like, what are you going to do? It's like Chad Pallet, he and I work together. And this is not our first project together. He runs the kind of business side of things, but he says it's addictive. This helping people is addictive.
Oh,
And
it
it's
is. It is. Yes. Well, tell the listeners and the audience, please, what is your life mastery? What are those principles?
Life mastery is a concept, first of all, is that it's the opposite of feeling like your life's out of control. I have control over my life. And not that things don't happen, but I'm in charge of my own life. And it can't just be in one area. To really feel in control of your life, you have to be in all aspects of your life. If you're doing well with your finances, but your health is out of control, you can't get a grip on your health and your fitness and your well-being, or if your relationships are out of control, but your health is good, it's not really having full life mastery. So I won't even work with people unless they're willing to set goals in all these areas. And so there's 8 areas. I'm going to read them off the back of the book so I don't miss one.
Great, thank you.
I'm on the spot right here. It's always the time I'm going to miss one. Physical. I always start with physical because that seems to be where people feel the most out of control. And once they get control of that, they feel like they can do anything. And our body is the instrument that we work with, that we love with, that we think with, that we work, that we do. Everything comes through this instrument, our body. So getting that under control is the one I put in there first. And most people do need to start with that one. Not everybody. And then spiritual, relationships, education, money, vocation, lifestyle, and character. So all of those things are important. And sometimes people ask me, which one's the most important? They're all equally important. You can't not take care of all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And, that really makes sense because they're all a piece of our life and what we are and who we are. And they're all a part of the puzzle, aren't they? You can't make a complete puzzle missing some pieces or not having balance, would you say?
No, I like that. That's a good analogy, Paul. Yeah. You need all those parts, all those segments, or all those pieces to the puzzle. And when it's not that we're always in balance. It's just we're always aware and have control over each one of them and know that nothing's out of control. We have days out of control, but overall, we still have mastery over each of them. And I don't like to talk about it so much as balanced. It's just that sense of control in all those areas.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't think there's anything, if you aim for balance.
Yes. And so would you say that
I don't even know what
goals
that would look like.
and affirmations, what we see ahead and what we envision, that's a big part of where we go?
Yes. One of the things that is unique about Life Mastery, my book, Life Mastery, is it has a part in it that I always wanted people to put in their books, but it was never there. And that is how to do it. I would be motivated, but tell me how. So Life Mastery provides some hows, and the two main, there's three of them in there, and they're very simple, almost childlike in their simplicity. One is to track your goals, but the other one is to track your daily habits. And there's a sheet in there, and you can get that on the website at lifemasteryinfo.com. They're free. I give those away. I've given those away free for through all the businesses I've had. I've had a website, and I've always given those away. But the other one is to your point, is about daily written affirmations. And we all know affirmations are useful, and what's going on in our head is important. Written daily affirmations are like affirmations on steroids. They're just the bomb for changing more who you are. Like some things don't fit into a good goal. Like I was always been such kind of serious in my demeanor, and I wanted to laugh more so forever. And I don't ever take it off. So I'm afraid I'll slip back. I laugh easily and often. So I can't put that in a, maybe how do I measure that in a goal, right? That it changes who I am. I'm cheerful. I'm positive and optimistic. I'm a good listener. I'm compassionate. Whatever it is you want to be about yourself that's not measurable goes really well in an affirmation. I suggest people have at least 5, or they aren't worth doing, but no more than about 12. And you can put about anything. You can even cross over. I track my daily habits, and then you go to your tracking sheet and track your daily habits. So you can use it a lot of different ways, but that daily written affirmation, that's the bomb for personal change.
Yes. I know I start my day every day with my affirmations, and I just think it sets a tone. And I've always believed that some of the most powerful tools we have, such as affirmations and goals and this and that, really are simple. Things in life that we can use to, master our life and create success really are powerful and simple. It's not complicated.
It isn't complicated. I have a friend who's always was long time friend. He was always looking for the new program that was going to get his life in order, right? And some of these planners that he gets, some of these programs would be so complicated, it made me tired just thinking about learning how to use them. The things I suggest, they have to be easy or you won't do it.
Yes.
But the things I suggest, like tracking sheet, it's very simple, but it's so powerful in creating habits. You just write the things you want to do down on it, on a column down on the left, days of the month across the top. And if you do it, you get a check. If you don't, you get a blank spot. And if it's not required that day, you get an X. And it's that simple. And yet it will almost control you. You're like, I can't go to bed and leave a blank spot on my tracking sheet. It really is so good for accountability, and it sounds too simple, but once you try it, I introduce it to my clients and they're like, and then they come back a couple weeks later and they're like, they're tracking sheet. They're, look what I've done.
Yeah.
They're so excited about it. It really, I often say that your systems are more important than your goals, because so many goals fail. This is one of, if I could just kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I feel bad about this. People set goals. Let's just say New Year's resolutions, for an example. They mean it. And we laugh about that. We say, oh yeah, New Year's resolutions, you'll just quit, right? Well, and then people feel weak. It's not that they're weak, but life is busy. And if you don't have a good system, you're going to forget. It's just that simple. I was going to get in shape. I was going to go to the gym every day. And I went for a couple of weeks. I had to take a couple of days off and I forgot to go back. It's not that people are weak. It's that no one taught them how to have a good system. They don't have a way to be accountable. So if you can use systems, if you have the one habit of using a daily tracking sheet and affirmations, those two little tiny things only take a few minutes every day. If you can do those, you can do about anything else if you'll use those two systems.
I love that. I love that. And I can imagine what you have seen with doing what you do, coaching others and helping them. Oh my gosh. I just have to give you a big thank you for all you're doing for others.
And I don't do very much. I sit there and listen to what they want out of life and then say, here's a tracking sheet, and teach them how to use it. And what else do you want in life? And here's some affirmations, and then watch them go. So yes, I've seen some amazing things, but it's them just giving a little bit of helping them get the vision of what they want, and then showing them how to do it. And then they go. And yes, it's amazing what people accomplish. I mean, I could tell you stories, but I won't, but we don't have time for that. It's just amazing.
I love it. Well, share with the audience how they could get a hold of you, your website, to look into doing some work with you and purchasing your book.
You can get a hold of us. You can get a hold of me personally, actually, at Sherry, SHERRY, at lifemasteryinfo.com. That's our website. There's free downloads, tracking sheets. Life Mastery, the book, it looks like this for those who are on the video. And with the pine cone, there's really a redwood cone on the front. And Life Mastery is on Amazon, and you can get hardback, paperback. And I'm working on the audio right now. We're getting the audio recorded. Later today, I'll be working on that. So that's available on Amazon. And if you're interested in working with us, just go to the website. I'm a little bit more expensive than everybody else that works with us. So, whatever fits in your budget, but we have some mentors who worked with me for years and years and years, off and on in different projects, and coach with me that are mentoring. And then I still do work with people. I don't take a lot of people, but I still do work with people.
And I love, you call what you do mentoring over calling it coaching. Now, why is that? I love that.
There's two really good reasons for that. It really is more mentoring. I feel like I don't even know. There's tons of life coaching out there. Everybody's doing. I don't even know what that looks like, but I think it looks like rah, 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 you go. We're actually teaching something that we already do. And that really, by definition, would be mentoring, taking somebody in. Now we do charge for it, but we're taking somebody in and teaching things that we've already practiced. And I think that's the biggest difference. So many people are teaching things that they just know in theory. And I said this in the book, but I like the quote that says, in theory and practice are the same thing, but in practice, they're not. So these are people who've actually, not just in theory, but are practicing. And then the other reason is so we can differentiate between the bazillion of life coaches out there that are doing, I don't even know what. I know what we're doing, and I know it works.
Because mentoring is so special. For the 14 years I've been teaching Reiki, I tell my Reiki students, I'm here for you forever. I'm your mentor. Any questions, anything I can do to help you move forward. And because mentoring, really, I see that as really a gift of caring and love. You're there for them.
And it's true. What you said is really true. And I don't say this often enough, but once I coach with somebody or mentor with somebody, they're like, we're connected. You can't share that kind of time and not be forever connected. So I'm a resource for those people forever. They can come back to me. We're friends like sealed together. for forever. You belong to me once you've mentored with me. And so I'm always there. So I'll have people reach out years later and just say, I've just got a couple questions, or can I just meet with you once and just to do, or they'll come back and actually go through another session too, but through another series of sessions. But, we'll just maybe chat for a little bit. They just need a, little tune up. Or sometimes they'll come back. I'm working with somebody now I worked with before, then he coached with me. And now we're doing it again, a little bit of a short course with him, just to.
And that's just heartwarming, isn't it? To know that you've been so special to them and been such a great effect that they want to continue and they come back to you. I mean, that's a beautiful compliment, Sherry.
We're just lifelong friends. You're going to be, how can you share that much and not be lifelong friends?
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. So with about a few more minutes in the show, what would you say to those out there that are thinking, oh my gosh, I want to start taking those steps. I want to start moving. What could they, other than reach out to you, and I recommend the book, what is a good every morning something that you would recommend someone to do on their path of life mastery?
I don't know if there's a one universal answer. Do something. When I ask my clients, I usually pick 1, 2, 3 of these there's only so many things people want to do. Every day is a starting point, but start with what you do now. It's only brush your teeth and add one habit, just one habit, and get that down. Just do it faithfully. Download the tracking sheet so you can track it or make your own, but just take one thing that's important to you. Maybe it's prayer, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's writing affirmations, maybe it's exercise. Just take one habit. I think the other problem that sinks people is they think, I want all this and I'm going to have to do all these things. You can't do them all at once. You just can't. But you can get there quickest by taking one thing, and then that discipline grows, and then you can add another thing, and the discipline grows, and you can add another thing until pretty soon you can master the world. And that's how everybody has to do it that way. If you already have some nice habits, just add more.
Yeah, you read my mind. I was just going to ask you, when you take the step and you create this habit, and then you take a step and you create a new habit. And so I'm curious, Sherry, so are you always developing new personal habits as well?
Oh, yes. Yes,
it's
I'm
never ending, isn't it?
No, there's some things that are always, they're non-negotiable. I do every day. There's a few things that just absolutely, no matter what happens, they get done every single day. They just will. I mean, I won't go to bed without doing them. There's other things that are a little bit negotiable, like if I'm traveling and maybe I won't do them, but that I require of myself. And then there's some that are fluctuating that I just going to do for the month. Maybe for this month, I'm going to, I'm going to do a new adventure 3 times this month, or I'm going to see if I can increase my water intake for the month. So I'll have some things here that come and go, but I usually run about 10 to 12 daily habits that I work on, counting all those things. And then a few weekly, and usually monthly, I do a different way. But so, yeah, I'm always working on it. And I just, there's that old saying, ain't dead, can't quit.
Yes, yes. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, and it's so exciting that every new day we can say, I'm going to create a new habit.
Yes.
I'm going to make a step into my life mastery. We have that option every day, don't we, Sherry?
We do. And it may not feel like this one little habit you're going to start with is going to get you where you want to go. But weirdly enough, the one thing, maybe you want to start with prayer. A lot of my clients want to start with prayer. So maybe you want to start with prayer in the morning, or it doesn't even matter what it is. It could be brushing your teeth. Weirdly enough, all those big dreams you have, that little habit is going to help you get there, because it's going to help you grow your self-discipline. And then as you grow more and more and more, you're going to attract, rather than elbowing your way to these ultimate goals that you want, you're going to still work towards them, but they're going to move towards you because of who you are. Yes. And that starts with one habit. I'm just beg people not to try to start with more than 1 or 2, because it will sink you. Mm-hmm. Just start with 1 or 2, get a few weeks under your belt. When you're ready, add 1, and it will make your dreams come true. It really will.
Yeah. So would you say those habits, they're starting to shift? They are just starting a shift.
Yes, they're starting a shift. They're starting to change. Everybody wants to like change the world. I want to go out and change the world. They march in the streets or they do whatever it is they do, write their congressman or just complain. I don't know, whatever they're doing. The only way you can change the world is to change yourself. You change yourself, and then there's a ripple effect that rolls out into the world and makes the world a better place, and you will attract and create more of what you become, and whether it's good or bad. So if you really want to make a difference in the world, if I could put it on a billboard, that's what I'd say. You want to improve the world, improve yourself.
Yes.
And you'll be happier and the world will be a better place. And if
Yes.
everybody did that, we'd have peace on earth.
Yes. Because would you say everything that, that's so true, because everything begins with us, what's inside us.
It begins with what's inside us. And then others, it really will affect, it really does affect the world. It's like sending out a vibration of goodness into the world. Plus, you can do good things. When you have better mastery over your own life, you can then have the mastery to go out. If you don't have mastery over your own life, how in the world are you going to do good things out there in the world that really matter and count? How you know what to do?
Yes. And I've always believed with, sharing positive energy and caring and giving with others, we're not pulling out of us. Oh my gosh, we gain. I mean, having a kind, caring heart and, loving ourselves, that expands out to others and they feel it, don't they?
Yeah, they do feel it. And the more that you can't, it's not a lot of this thing about, I just need to love myself. Well, you've got to be someone you can love. I deserve this and deserve that. We've got to be somebody who really does deserve it by the things. And then when you love yourself, you have respect for yourself, then you have so much more to give to other people. But without that, you can't give anything except to stomp your foot and say, I demand respect. Well, earn the respect, earn the self-respect. Other people will respect you and they'll seek you out for help and advice and to be better themselves.
Yes. Oh, Sherry, this is so fantastic. Oh, you are so awesome. I am just so.
Well, you're awesome too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And everyone out there, you're awesome. We're going to have an awesome day today.
Infinite potential. Infinite potential out there.
Right.
You've all got it. Everybody's got it. We've all got it.
I'm going to start my awesome habit this morning.
All right, you do that. Download that tracking sheet and you can mark it right there. You don't even have to create one. Take you 1 minute to download that. And then you can use that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, before we say goodbye, if you wouldn't mind sharing your website one more time with the audience, please, Sherry.
It's Life Mastery Info. Life Mastery was taken, so we have to add info. lifemasteryinfo.com. And I'm Sherry at lifemasteryinfo.com. And I respond to any emails I get.
Thank you so much.
If you email me or contact me in any other way, social media, I'll respond.
Oh, well, thank you, Sherry. Love, hugs, and blessings to you. And to everyone out there, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Good luck with your projects.
Oh,
Paula, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you.